Welcome to another episode of the NEL Show. It is a pleasure to have you here. This is our first episode for the year 2022. Thank you so much for choosing to be a part of this. Do not forget to follow, subscribe, and then also share this video as well, because you are going to be gaining a lot of value from this video actually. So let me congratulate you in advance for all of the things that we're going to be learning today and all of the things that you'll be implementing in your life. Most importantly, today's episode is sponsored by her leadership hack. Today's episode is sponsored by a leadership hack. It is the newly released book. It contains The Strong Woman, Your Relationship Companion, Woman You Are Distinct, and then Wisdom Garden. Just to run through them briefly, The Strong Woman is a book on leadership. It's a book that helps and teaches women in leadership, whether you are a business owner, you are a ministry founder, you are a co-partner, as long as you are in a position where you're leading people. It could be from 3 people to 100 people, even if you are in the career space. It is a good book to help you with your season of leadership, encourage you, and remind you of why you are actually in leadership and how to better equip yourself actually. Your Relationship Companion is one of the best. It is the book that is like, just like we put it in the subtitle, it is your dictionary to relationship, love, life. So if you're a woman in leadership that is looking to date the right man so that you can marry the right kind of man, you should actually get this, your dictionary. It contains everything about relationship, things you must look out for, things you should pay attention to, things you should grow in your life, and so on and so forth. Woman You Are Distinct is a book on helping women understand their identity and their uniqueness and helping them see why they must live from a place of authenticity, originality, rather than copying and walking in the other person's shadow. So when you are working from a place of authenticity and originality, I'll get it here. We are working from a place of authenticity and originality. You actually are going to be able to contribute more to the world. And then Wisdom Garden, our guest is okay. And then Wisdom Garden is a book that's a compilation of quotes that is definitely going to help you reflect and take better decisions in your life. So we are going to get started already. Let me add our guest for the day.
Good morning, Ma. Thank you so much for being a part of this live. I'm so happy to have you here.
Good morning.
All right, so we are going to go ahead to read your profile and then we'll get right into it. Okay, so thank you so much for everybody joining in. Our guest for today is RonkePosh, and then we're going to learn more about our profile and then we'll move on to the topic for discussion today. Ronke Adeni, fondly called RonkePosh, is a fun, loving, energetic, and enthusiastic lady, a lover of God, a wife, and mom. She holds a BSc in biochemistry from the Queen Mary University of London and a master's degree in business administration from the University of Hull in the United Kingdom. She is a certified and experienced Montessori directress. She received her training from the Modern Montessori Institute in London and holds a postgraduate diploma in education. RonkePosh has a vast experience in the banking, education, and children entertainment sector. She's a serial education entrepreneur who loves to empower and motivate the young and old to greater heights. She owns the best preschool and primary school in Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria, called the Poshe School. She runs a children entertainment company called Poshe Party Packs. She's the founder of Helps at Home initiative, which focuses on parenting in the 21st century and the proper recruitment of domestic workers in homes in order to prevent risks to families. She is passionate about the subject as a result of being a victim herself after she relocated to Nigeria from the United Kingdom. RonkePosh is a parenting practitioner, a certified family life therapist, and a practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. She uses this to coach and support parents in our parenting Facebook community called Parenting Right. She's the author of the best-selling books for kids, Right Kids 101, and the newly published 101 Tips to Curb the Beating and Shouting. Thank you so much, Ma, for being a part of this, and thank you for everything that you do. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I'll just mention good morning to everyone. I will need 5 minutes at some point. Well, not up to 5 minutes, maybe 1 minute to transition from where I am to my car, and then from my car at some point into my house, because I'm not at home at the moment. I shouldn't interrupt what you're doing too badly. Sorry, I had a little emergency, so I'm not at home, but I still got a lit environment now.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. No problem at all, Ma. Thank you. We'll take breaks in between while you're transitioning. No problem, Ma. Okay, Ma. So I took out time to study you, and one of the things that I actually realized is that you actually do early years education in a quite different and exciting way. Like, apart from the fact that you yourself, you are even content, the way you now, the way when I went through your pages, your page, your website, there's just a lot of beauty and a lot of excitement actually, even for a parent wanting to bring the child to your school and your environment, the way you actually portray the things that you do. What made you start out this way, that is in the educational sector, the early years education, in the style and manner that you currently do?
Well, I think for me, the personal value is having fun, having a good time, enjoying myself. So irrespective of the environment I'm in, whether I'm in the educational sector or not, I would still have infused fun into what I do. I started off while I was in banking. I was working as a children's entertainer. I had a children's entertainment company in the UK where I used to work with children, do party bags, face painting, and all the things that come along with it, slush puppies and the likes. Hello, Eunice. Hello, everyone. And yeah, so it's really part of who I am. I'm just a very easygoing person. I know how to have a lot of fun, have a good time, and I know how to work hard and smart. So it's not going to be it's not me if fun is not involved in it.
Wow. Okay, so at what point did you know that you had something to do with parenting and education? At what point in your life, and what was your journey towards to get into that point?
When I was working with the children, as a children entertainer in the UK, I obviously enjoyed what I was doing. I used to go there, have a lot of fun. But the thing is, when you are on a journey of purpose, God doesn't give you everything all at once. He gives you what you can handle at a time. He doesn't give you the whole vision. So when that started, I didn't see the school then. But as I progressively moved along, I knew that I had to be in a space where children were involved in it. So he opened the doors and my eyes one step at a time. So it wasn't like one day I said, you open a school, you will do this, you will do that, you do that. No, I started on a journey. It was supposed to be a decade. If you just do the children, They'll play and go. That's how it was supposed to be. People are not happening in nursery section, primary section. People are even putting me to open secondary, but that's not going to happen. They should forget about it. So yeah, so God gives you, and God hasn't told me to open secondary school anyway. So God gives you what He wants you to do per time, and that's how it happened for me.
Okay, Mark, it will help us understand your vision. What would you say is your vision for parenting and education, particularly through what it is that you're doing? What is that grand vision for you?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a grand vision. I came here to contribute my quota. Everybody just wants it to be right. For people to have, for children to have quality education so that their life is fair. They have a fighting chance. You see what the nation is like. People don't have a
Yeah.
fighting chance without education. So it's not one big vision that nobody else has. It's part of a big vision that many people have to ensure that everybody has equal opportunities as much as we can. Now, in my lifetime, I doubt that all the change can happen. However, I can contribute what I can, and we can lay tracks for the next generation to run along with the vision. So we just want to get this country right. And there are different sectors. There are people in the medical sector, there are people in education, there are people in different sorts of infrastructure, power, energy. We are all doing our own in little pockets, and hopefully one day it will infuse, and then we'll be able to see the transformation that we need in the country.
Well, rightly said, man. Okay, so moving on now to young couples. I want to get your thoughts, Ma, on what you think regarding. So, a lot of couples think that marriage automatically transitions to parenting, or marriage is the same thing as parenting. That's the idea that some people have, or some young couples have. What do you think about that, Matt? Some people have said there are two different departments that people should prepare for differently. Why the culture just encourages people to just make everything together and just flow through. What are your thoughts on young couples getting married, and then what do they need to do to prepare for parenting, or is this something that they can move together along?
Okay, I can use one day to answer that question. But yeah, as Biden said, society is part of the pressure that gets people to have children. They say they are praying for many couples that 9 months from today of their wedding, they will have children. They will have twins 9 months from today. And for many couples, it's actually a curse. It's not a blessing. A lot of people have had children, and anybody can spiritualize anyhow they like. It doesn't bother me. But we know that a lot of people have had children and suffered postnatal depression. Their families have split up. The husband hasn't stayed because the pressure is too much. They can't handle it. So what we want to pray for couples, we really should be saying when they are ready, when they are ready, when they are prepared. See, you can't be 100% prepared, but you can be more prepared than having zero in your account. Yeah, you can be more prepared. You can be prepared and have somewhere to live. You know, even God gives us time for preparation. You don't get together with your partner and then have the baby the next day. He still gives you a minimum of 9 months. Even if your child comes early, you will still have from 6 months for the baby to even be whole, being in incubator. There's always the preparation time. But you find that many couples are even pregnant before they have they start the marriage on, so they don't even get to know each other. I personally waited 4 years, and we weren't looking for a baby. We didn't want that. We wanted to get to know each other, we wanted to travel the world, and that's what we did. You know, we did that. Yeah, people were saying, "Oh, what happened? Are you guys okay?" Blah blah blah. But the thing is that you have to be able to look away and not listen to what people are saying in society. So thankfully, I did not marry a Nigerian, but is a Nigerian. A typical Nigerian will probably want to join and say, okay, 9 months from today. But he knew that I just finished my master's. I didn't have much of a career. So I had to have some work experience. I have some in life. And personal value for me is not to depend on a man. That's me. Some women, it works for them in their family. That is them. I am not of the school. When I wasn't raised that where I've just get married and it's my husband that is feeding me, buying everything for me. Can do that, but not 100%. I must have yes, it's for better or worse. I'm not a very sentimental person. I must be able to say, oh, it's not working, I'm going. I'm not going to stay in a relationship and I'm being abused because I don't have money. I don't want that. So even at a very early age, I kind of like do that. I got married at 23. I've been married 19 years. So you kind of like know many things that, and I was very, very active in church. I had gone for a lot of conferences around marriage, around parenting. So I had an idea. So depending fully and solely on a man was not part of my vision. I know people, a lot of women don't want to work, a lot of girls want a man, they want to marry this man and stuff like that. And they're totally dependent on him. It's not for me. I believe that, I don't even believe, I know that God created a woman first before he created someone to be a wife. Being a wife is an optional decision. Being a mother is optional. The same thing for a man. You're first a man that has to be whole and complete. It's optional for you to be a husband. Jesus was not a husband, and it's optional for you to be a father, a biological father. A lot of people are sentimental. I want my own biological child. Again, I'm not a sentimental person, because even the God that we serve, we're not his biological children. We are adopted into by him. So I'm not very sentimental. If I didn't have children, I would adopt, and I would not have any problem with it. It's not, that's the kind of person that I am. So a lot of couples need to know all these sort of basic and fundamental things. When they are doing marriage counseling, they should add parenting classes to it. They should go for at least 10 parenting classes, have an idea. You have couples that go to come to the school with a new baby. They're trying to prepare. Even the good ones will try and prepare in advance. Maybe they'll come like 2 weeks before the baby's about to start school, because mommy wants to resume work. And then they'll say how much and they want to pass out. They have no clue. You don't know what the expectations are. They just have the thing and just think you just continue your life like that. But that is not what parenting is about. Once you want to have the baby, if you ask many people, why did you have the baby? Why did you have children? You just believe it's the next thing to do. You've gone to school now. You've gone to the degree. Now, some don't even do that. They've already just found a man, and then they just having children. But those children come with all sorts of peculiarities. You don't know you don't, like a gift. You don't know what it's all about. The toolbox, you have to figure it out. So it's always good to have some clarity. Some people come and tell you now that parenting, there's no parenting handbook, and I always tell them it's a pile of crap. It's a pile of poo-poo, as a matter of fact. There's so much information out there about parenting these days that you can't say parenting does not have a handbook. There's so much good information out there. There's so many people doing what I do. There's so many people that have written books, and yet people will say, oh, children are not the same, there's no children parenting handbook. Or they get defensive. Nobody can tell me how to raise my children. Nobody can tell me not to beat my children. They are my children. That's because they are defensive. They are weak people. They don't want to learn. The minute somebody does not want to learn, they get defensive. Nobody can tell me, because I say, nobody can tell me how to read. Nobody can tell me how to treat my wife. Nobody can tell me how to treat my husband. It's because you don't want to learn. You want to remain in that status quo. You are comfortable doing what you're doing. You want to beat your children, you want to shout at them. So you're saying nobody can tell you anything. You are now a God unto yourself. But those children do not belong to you. Those children actually belong to God. You are just a custodian for a period of time. And that is why you find that a lot of parents have single-handedly, or two of them as a couple, have destroyed the lives of their children, because they are not conscious, they're not aware, they're not intentional, and they're not well informed about their children. So you see what I mean? A lot of people don't want to learn. You cannot not learn. You can't parent the way you parented. You can't say I was beaten, I turned out all right. Because you didn't turn out all right. If you turn out all right, then why do you feel that you must hit somebody else to get your own way? Yet you will say it's bullying when the teacher does it. When somebody else does it, it's not all right. But when you do it, it's okay because they're your children. No, it isn't. So for young couples, they need to go for parent classes. They need to buy books and read. They need to have an idea. As a couple, they should agree which schools do we want our children to go. Who is going to work? For a period of time, the woman has to be at home. But you can actually be at home in this day and age, be working from home and still be making your millions from the home. So this is the plan. Sit and talk about it. Discuss it. How many children are we going to have? What is the gap we're going to have between those children? Now you say, oh, there are mistakes happen. Yeah, mistakes happen. But mistakes can also can actually do your best to avoid it. If it's not unavoidable, then you know that it's God that actually wants that to happen that way. Most of the time, you can do something about it. I used the pill for 4 years. I didn't want to have any children then. It worked for me. And the minute I came off it, I had my daughter. So you understand what I mean? So you must plan. You must plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Where are you going to live? Where are you going to live? A lot of people, they have support in the mainland. Their parents are living on the mainland. But they have to join the whole world and go and live on the island. When they go to the island, they have no support system. You have to depend on domestic workers. Domestic workers will verbally, sexually, emotionally abuse your children because you are busy going at work. You don't hold the same value systems as you and your child. So you have so many issues out there, and many of those issues is because the parents don't know what they are doing. They are self-sabotaging. They're doing what everybody else is doing. They want to copy. Even when they want to go to schools, they don't do the research properly. All they have to do, many of them, what they do is they will ask, which school does your child goes? Somebody's child goes. And then they put their child there. There's nothing wrong in asking, but you must go there and do your research because it might be okay for that person's child, but not okay for your own child. The child might be 1 million, the school might be 1 million years old and may be good for 1,000 children, but not your own. The school has to be right for your child, not that your child is right for the school. The school must be right for your child, not that the child will be right for your school. But a lot of people, it's just to copy. And in copying, they lose their children. In not learning, they lose their children. A lot of parents don't have emotional connections. Even in our own generation, you find that a lot of people, they feel obligated to look after their children, not because of love, but because of what people will see. And the only connection between many of them and their parents is that they want to send money home so that the parents will eat, and they won't say you didn't send money home. After that, there's nothing. They don't have any relationship. They didn't talk about sex, sexuality. They don't know the deep things that are wrong with their children. If they just existing as parent-child relationship so that the world will say there's parent-child relationship. Many of them can't wait for their parents to flick over and die so that they can just, close that chapter of their lives. And that is the reality that a lot of people don't talk about. But we want to change that narrative. We want a place where children want to take care of their children because they love their parents so much. They want to be with their parents. They connect with their parents. They can feel them. They know when there's something wrong, and vice versa. The parents also know when there's something wrong. There's this strong emotional connection. There's this strong love. There's this strong bond, not by virtue of living in the same house or for a period of time, but because you connect, you get each other. You are part of a whole. That's the way it should be. But we don't see it these days. How can a parent build a connection with a child that they hardly see? When in the morning the child is not up, the parents already on their way out or they've left already. In the evening, when everybody is tired, they come back home. They even come back home before the children go to bed. So how do you even connect with those children? You say you're trying to put food on the table. So I tell young couples, this food on the table that people keep saying, don't join them. What you now need to do is to plan. If you know that you are going to both be out, you won't have time. Something has to give. Something has to give. Is it that the way you do the children? Is it that the way you space the children out? That's very important. Or you delay having the children. It's not by force to have. It's not even by force to have children at all. Society is the one putting pressure on people to have children. So if somebody has to say, I don't want children, it's not by force to have children. I have one, but society is not okay. That one is their own business. I don't live for society. I don't have a girl. Some people say, oh, you not have a boy. To me, I'm okay. With my husband, we are very, very okay. So if you are one of those people that want to die for your name and stuff like that, that one is your own business. Because my own name is what I am. It's who I am. It's RonkePosh. You know what is RonkePosh? I'm not going to go a name that is probably for 1,000,000 years. I'm always going to be my father's daughter. He's always going to be proud of me. He's my #1 cheerleader. When I'm going on air doing things, he's my #1 cheerleader. He doesn't say, "Oh, I'm a girl." No, he treats us all the same. We need to treat our children as individuals. We need to treat our female children that they are whole and tell them that they are enough, irrespective of gender. We need to stop all this, oh, it's a boy. Some people will send their boy children abroad and let these ones in the girls to stay here. Even people in my own generation. I know people that I went to school with that had sons in America and they have daughters in Nigeria because they have to go to another family. So they don't want to invest. That's because you don't think the child is enough. And it's a historic thing. It started from the past where a lot of men were going to do the breadwinning. The women were staying at home and nurturing children. But the times have flipped. Are you going to have Michelle Obama as your child and you say you don't have a child? If as your child, you say you don't have a child. There's many great women out there doing things over and beyond what men are doing. Are you going to say you don't have a child when you have a daughter? So people have to stop all those things. A lot of people, they will have 4 or 5 girls and they will still be looking for divorce. They don't believe that those children are human. Now, if you don't think those girls are enough, then you release them into society as inadequate human beings. They do not believe they are enough because even their parents have told them that you are not enough until the boy comes. And that is what we see in society today. If you bring up a girl very, very well and invest in her the same way that people invest in men, then you will see that women can do so much. They can do great things. But the ignorance resides in our country. It resides in our society where they think If somebody will even go to America, go to England, go around the world, and still believe that it's the boy child, they still believe that so strongly. So if you have that mentality, if that is your own school of thought, then you can keep having 12 children looking for a boy child. But for those of us that have girls and are content and are happy, and we can see what our girls are doing, we can see the difference. We're investing in them. And like I said, there's so many examples. I don't want to call too many names. There's so many examples of females that are doing great things in the country. We must look at gender as individuals, as whole, not that one is better than the other. That's part of what is sabotaging us. That's part of what is sabotaging many parents. They don't understand. They don't get it. They're just doing what other people. And people will be putting pressure on them. When are you going to have a boy? Or do you have a child? The child almost two. When are you going to have the other one? Have them together. It's because those people do not have a vision. And when you don't have a vision, you will perish. If you want to go by what people are saying, you don't stand for everything, then you will fall for everything. What do you want as a parent? If you feel as if it's even too stressful to have those children as a woman, it's okay to adopt. There's nothing wrong with it. These days, there's surrogates, there's children, people doing surrogates. There's so many options out there these days. Life is so much more convenient when it comes to parenting. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to have children when everybody else is having children. If you can't handle it, if you're not ready for it, you're not mentally ready. You're already suffering with your own scars, your own trauma, childhood trauma, abuse from your own childhood. You are not complete, you're not whole. Abusive relationships here and there. You are broke, there's nothing more money in your bank account, and then the next thing you want to do is to have a child and destroy that child's life. What type of nonsense is that? It's because people are thinking. They're allowing people to think for them. Their parents are putting pressure on them, telling them they must do this, they must do that, they must do that. That's why before you get married, even if you don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and they're doing the parenting class, go and attend it. Begin to get an insight into what the future will be like. Begin to get an insight and know that, oh, this is what I want to do. When you have the child, you begin to say, this child I'm going to have, what difference is this child going to make on earth? Is it going to exist just like any other person? This child is one of the billions of people in the world? Or will it be one of the names that people are calling in their own circle of influence? Would it be that they will know their name? They will know who they are? Or they say, oh, somebody died. Oh, yeah, somebody died there. Oh, sorry about that. The way you say sorry, they say, hey, yeah, somebody died, and they've moved on. Or they say, oh, somebody died. What? Oh my God, that person was Oh, even though we move on fast, so irrespective of who it is, I know we move on fast. But at least somebody will stop and say, oh my God, she was this, she was that, she was that, she was that. That's what we want to raise. We don't want to just bring up ordinary people, because the Bible said, let your light so shine before men, that men will see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. He didn't tell you to come and exist. He told you to come and shine, so that people will glorify you. You're not supposed to be one of the million of sand. You're supposed to be the one that they will see. You're not supposed to be like any other bird. You're supposed to be like the one that has a crown on the head. You're not an ordinary person. And you're not supposed to give birth to ordinary people. You must matter. You must matter. You do your God an injustice. You don't do him proud when you just exist. You must shine. You must, and your shining is not by you wearing shiny clothes and being braggadocious. Your shining must be by you using the gifts and talent that the Lord has blessed you with. What has God given to you? And he has given everybody something. I mean, look at Cobam's, I think he doesn't come with his sight. But look, he's making a difference in the world. There are people that, irrespective of their disability, are making a difference in the world. I know a lady, Toby Loba Ajayi, she's in Nigeria. She works with children with cerebral palsy. And she's making an impact in her own circle of influence. So what are you doing in circle of influence? How are you raising your children? What are you doing? Is it for your children just go to school? Go to school, come back, do lessons. Go to school, come back, do lessons. This is what people think parenting is. Oh, you're not writing, all your friends are writing. You're not doing this, all your friends are. It's always one comparison on that, because you don't have a vision for the child. You don't know anything about the child. You don't get it. When you get it, you will know that this child is not to be compared to anything else. This child is the child of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. What does the Lord God Almighty want me to do with this child? How am I going to make this child a destiny changer, a global hero? How am I going to make sure that happens in the life of the child? Like I said, I can answer this question in 24 hours, 48 hours. I can go on and on and on. So let me allow you chip in.
Wow. Honestly, man, it was, you came like with a revival, like it was a whole lot, and it was relevantly so. Thank you so much, ma, for everything that you said. Thank you. And we're just going to sit with this replay because there's a lot of things. I'm going to distribute this, make noise about it. Every young parent or even intending couple, they must hear about this. Thank you so much, Ma. Ma, you shared about your own journey of waiting 4 years. The question I want to ask you is, what work have you done on yourself? Because from all you shared, I realized that it was a matter of your own self, your identity. You had done a lot of inner work and internal work. So you were not, and even the way like you share, you're not really bothered by what this one is saying or what that one is saying. What work would you advise, whether male or female, whether they're a couple or intending couple, to do on themselves to be able to stand just against the expected cultural norm?
You need to travel. You need to travel. I'm not talking about Jackpot. I'm not talking about Jackpot. You need to travel with your mind. You need to travel. And you need to travel through books. You need to travel. You don't travel. And it's not just on the plane alone. Just on the plane is an addition. You need to see what people are doing around the world. You need to understand what people are doing around the world. If you sit down here and doing what they are doing alone in Nigeria, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say what I want to say because I don't think every mind is ready to accept it. But you need to travel. You need to travel through books. You need to travel through the internet. You can get to any country via the internet. You can see what they are doing. You can read cultures, people's background. What you think is boring. Use audiobooks, use videos. Find out what people are doing around the world, how people are raising children. We think we are raising our children all right. We think we are so great, but we hardly have any innovators in Nigeria. When was the last time you heard that a Nigerian innovated something? When you hear that they do that, there have been people living abroad. But we think we're doing it right. We think we're doing it right. Look at our whole infrastructure all around, including educational sector, health sector, everywhere, transport, everything is a mess. And the average Nigerian is looking for how they will send their children abroad to go and school. But maybe we know everything. In those schools, they don't beat them there. But we want to send our children there. In both people, they spoil their children. But you want to jackpot with their own country. You want to jackpot them. I read on Insta blog, I saw an email. I didn't really read. As soon as I opened this Instagram, I saw something about Insta blog about a medical doctor in Canada who was suspended because he was hugging and blowing kisses at a colleague. Our foolishness, we have carried it to other countries. We think we can get away with it. We think we can go and be beating our children in other countries and they will accept our foolishness. So when we do it, they get arrested. When you do it, you lose your job. When you go there and sexually harass people, you lose your job. You can't go abroad and behave like a foolish Nigerian. You cannot. They must do things differently. So if you want to get to a level, and I'm on a journey, I've not arrived anyway. Where if you want to go on a journey of growth, you have to go on a personal journey of discovery for yourself. You need to find out who you are. Who did God say you are? As a human being, when God created Adam and Eve, He actually created humanity. He didn't create and say, oh, one gender is better than the other. No. It doesn't say anywhere that God is a man and God is a woman. He didn't say that anyway. It isn't written in anyway. The spirit being, and those that worship God must worship Him in spirit and in truth. When we get to heaven, we won't even know the children that we gave birth to. So what's the big deal in this name? We won't even know your spouse. So what's the big deal in all these things that we are doing? Are we thinking deeply? Why are we so sentimental about everything? Why are we sentimental about legacy? If we truly believe that the world will end anytime soon, what is doing us really? Why are we putting everything on the head? If we really believe that we should not build treasures here on earth, why we are lying to ourselves. We are the greatest deceivers of ourselves. We will be saying one thing, we don't believe it. The Christianity we profess that we are, we don't believe it. If you believe that nothing matters on earth, then why do you think that you must have a boy child or over and beyond the girl child? If you truly believe. But because people don't believe, they're not saying it. Christianese, Islamis, they're not saying it. They don't truly believe it. You should know that you came here on a journey. You came here on a journey as an individual. You didn't come here to your legacy resides in the lives of other people. It doesn't reside in your children's alone. It's the people that they die today. I'm not ready to die. I have a beautiful, beautiful daughter. I want to walk her down the aisle. You know, I'm one of the people that was going to defy. It's not daddy that will walk you down the aisle. I have one child. I will not have opportunity to walk anybody down the aisle. It's not possible. I'm walking. Both of us, we walk down that aisle. So it's somebody that really created that thing now. So me too. I will walk down. So if we really understand so many things that about our who we are as individuals, our legacy resides in other people. If I die today, it's not only my child that will miss me. A lot of people that have impacted their life through my work. There are too many in the school, parents, online, thousands of people that have really read my books, materials. I've printed my books over and over again, and it keeps getting sold out. So I know that at least my book will be somebody's house. I know that my word that is in my mouth is in somebody's heart. I know through the things that I do, somebody's parenting has improved. Somebody's marriage has improved. A girl child is more confident about who she is. You know, all the things I believe and I profess and I who I am. That's my legacy. My legacy cannot just be in my children. A lot of people will have 5 children, and a lot of people will say to my children, but they will not even have common sense, and they're all 5 children. In our own generation, our parents mark of honor that they've done very well is when they send their children to school and none of them have a degree. But you feel that even those days, a lot of people send their children abroad. That was for them. They send their children abroad. None of them will be able to get one degree. Then the parents will be shouting, "Hey, I'm a failure. The village teachers at whoa, blah 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 blah." That was their measure of their children having a degree. Then he moved on to have the degree and have the masters. But these days, you see that a lot of generation don't even want to have degree. They just want to just rock, party and enjoy themselves. Things have changed. So what do we understand about the children that we are having? These are the Gen Z children, the Alpha Gen generation. How do we as millennials relate with the children that are Gen Zers and the children that are Alpha Gen that we're going to have? How do you relate with them? So I have so many resources on my YouTube channel. People can go there, subscribe. I still spoke at Trem Church not long ago about this Gen Z and Gen Z. So many things. We're just doing it consciously, They think children are a bragging right, you want to do mommy and wear the same clothes and think that is parenting. That's not parenting. That's just a waste of your time. If you believe that you are not building treasures here on earth, you must invest in the mind of your child. People will send their children have problems. You send them for math lessons, send them for lessons, but you don't send them to coach their mind. You don't send them for personal development, to empower them, educate, character development. You don't do all that. All they do is they want to just wear clothes for their children and post on Instagram. Somebody will be posting on Instagram, "Oh, my son is so cute, the best thing since sliced bread." And you will see the mates saying that this guy is a thug in school. This one sexually harasses children. They don't know who their children are. Those children, because you pitch them so much and chat at them so much, they have one behavior for you at home. The minute they get freedom and they're out of the home, they become something else that the parents do not even know. So they behave for you at home because they don't want to stress. Just go out of their vicinity. Let them go be out. They turn into something completely different. And that's why I said at the beginning, those emotional connections are very, very key. People need to understand who their children are. A lot of parents, so many parents don't know who their children are. Even in my own generation, there's so many things that parents don't know about their children. I can't tell you that my parents know everything about it. And I'm not saying every minute detail. I'm saying every relevant detail. What matters. Our parents did not know that. The information was not. I can see Fina here. Fina is very fond of saying that if you know better, you will do better. If you know better, you will do better. So if you know better, our parents didn't know better. That's why they did what they did. They did what they could based on the resources that was available to them. We now have resources a lot. We are snowing in a sea of information. But the thing is, people are really lazy to read. Tell them to read it, wahala. Tell them to do this, wahala. They don't want to do anything. Subscribe to parenting course, wahala. They don't want to. But tell them to go and buy a Shebi, ready. Oh, let's sing that at the song. It's Friday. Hey, God, it's Friday. They want to go and rock. They will spend that 50K. Tell them to use that 50K to do consultation for their children. They don't. That's because you don't genuinely understand who your child is. You think you genuinely you know the kind of mission, the mandate that God has given you concerning your child. You will not mess when they say you come and spend money on your child. When they say you come and do personal development for your child, or even for yourself so that you can help your child. If they tell you go and do this kind of thing, you will not spare a penny. What is the budget that parents have for their children? I'm not talking about travel to somehow. I'm not talking about buying clothes and buying. The budget you have for the personal development of your child. parents should tell me. Do they even know it exists? Do they know that it exists? How many books do you have about parenting on your shelf? How many? Ask me. I don't know. I don't know because I have too many. I don't know. Maybe 100. I don't know. Maybe over 100. But I don't even only go. I'm also someone that works on the mind, so I have books about the mind because I like to understand mind. And as you asked earlier on, that journey of discovery for me included a journey of the mind, understanding how the mind works. So I mean, it's really we can go until tomorrow.
One of the things that I wanted to also bring up on what you've been sharing, Mark, if a person even listens to you, like listens to this, your what I'll consider like your free consultation, which some people will still see it as a task to watch, you would know that to even have children is a whole lot of investment in many other there are different investments, and then there's a financial investment. Not necessarily people think financial investment, which it helps us to just say different. They think, oh, diapers, the Cerelac. No, it's not just that. It is actually all of these things that you're talking about. What if you are doing, or if you believe in coaching or reading for yourself, then what of your children as well? This is what you just opened, at least my own mind, to personally, to that point where you need to actually create that budget and what I would call like a department, which is why you reiterated with to us earlier on about the importance of preparing for them, so that it's not something you are doing in a lot of confusion. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. I didn't plan to ask, but I just want to ask briefly. I've not even gone in details into that report, but there's this report online right now, making rounds in the newspapers about the government trying to limit the amount of children that parents have in Nigeria to help with the economy. What are your thoughts on that generally? On the government to come in to take charge of that.
People tell you, don't you know who I am? In my family, we have 12 children. We have people abusing, and the government are saying those. The people have not spoken about that thing online because to me it's a pile of. It's good, but it's a pile of crap that will not happen because if they cannot even stop people from having sex with minors and allowing 12-year-olds to have children in the north, especially. If they can't stop that, how are they going to say curb your children? When the comes a lot of people in the north is that I must have four wives and 50 children and things like that. How are you going to implement it on a national scale? So to me, when I saw it, I was like, another pile of rubbish that people are saying again. Until you can actually say that in the north, you cannot sleep with a child. The minimum must be 18 or 19 or even 21 because 18 is a young adult, 21 is an adult proper. So at 21 is the time when a child can get married and start having children. Those children are not going to school. They will not go to school, and what is happening, they are made to be parents. They are made to be parents. They even suffer also of illnesses because their body is not ready for what they put their body through. Some of them are sick for the rest of their lives. So those when you want to cut the number of children, if it's going to work truly, let's start with that one first. When we start with that one, they will take it all the other ways. All the people that always say, "Oh, I must have 20 children." Don't you know who I am? I did this one, that one. The thing is that having children is not about having the money to look after them. You must have the time and you must have the mental, emotional capability to look after those children. It's not about you having billions. You can have billions and be completely absent from the life of the child, which is also something that is terrible for the child. The children need you. They don't want you to neglect them. It's not about, oh, I'm so busy. I mean, I saw one rubbish online that was going around one time. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to find people looking for it. The lady was she's a senior director of a very big organization. She was saying, and they say, what are the things that worked for you? And she was like, oh, I have many PAs. So when my children call me, they will already say, my PA will say, have you done your homework? So the PA pretty much knows all the questions to ask the children so that they don't disturb her at work. Okay, make sure you go and watch do your homework. Make sure you watch TV for 1 hour. You are outsourcing your parenting and you think it's cool. A lot of people that have died, they've said it. A lot of great people that have died that didn't connect with their family. They've said it that one of their greatest regrets was not connecting with their families, was not connecting with their children. They've always said we heard this thing over and over again. But we think in school, we think we can use PAs and people like that to what is it called, to raise our children. You say, oh, I'm so busy. The trick is to have a very good nanny. The trick is to have a very good PA. The trick is to have someone that is literate. That's not a trick. It's not a trick. The trick is to keep your legs shut if you know you're not going to have time for your children, or use the contraceptive pill. That's the trick. Stop bringing up children that you don't have time for. We know too much now, but if you want to say, oh, I have children at the end of the day, you choose. If your career you want to choose, face it. If your career wants to choose, face it. Nobody's saying don't work, but have time for the children. The whole week we go by, you don't have any time for the children. The whole month you go down, you don't have time. You go to work in the morning. You come back tired, you are beating them because you are tired and they are being children. You are beating them for doing what children are supposed to do. Expected behavior. You are beating those children for things like that. And then you are tired, you go to bed. Is that how to parent? That's why a lot of those children, they're on drugs, they're having sex, they are sexting, they're cyberbullying, they are being blackmailed. So many things are happening, and the parents have no clue. They don't know who the children are. They have no clue about what is happening. Alcohol, taking alcohol to school, all sorts of things. Then you're giving them excess pocket money. You think as if you love them, you give them excess pocket money. Oh, yeah, go anywhere you want to go. Go, do this. Oh, mommy loves you. Daddy loves you. You think that's parenting? When you're destroying the lives of people, that's why they will go and be beating other people, or children in that school, and think that nothing's going to happen to them. Because they know that they have parents that are well-to-do in inverted commas. They get away with blue murder. Parents are over-parenting. They're not taking responsibility anymore. You know, they can't even correct their children. There's two extremes. We have the ones that are always beating children, and then we have another extreme of the ones that don't do their job. They're very permissive kind of parents. Children will do anything, speak to their parents anyhow. They talk back at their parents. Parents will be there thinking, it's cute. You're destroying the life of your children. So you parent them to the point where examination malpractice. You buy exam papers for them. You buy everything for them. You're ruining the lives of children. And you will suffer for it. God will going to punish you. It's not a cause. God is going to punish you because He gave you a child. And then you made a mess of it. So you will suffer the consequences. You can't just do anything you want with God's child and get away with it. No, you cannot. If you don't suffer it here, you will suffer it in the afterlife.
Wow. Okay. At this point, in fact, I just have to be skipping questions. I wanted to ask what your thought is, because this was something that you also shared about, and thank you so much, regarding the Sylvester's case. I want to get your own thoughts on, not necessarily the case per se, but on the parenting part of that is both Sylvester as a victim and the children, the culprits in the whole, in what happened to him. Some people have argued and said that, oh, well, if they did their job better as parents, this has gone viral on radio, everybody's talking about it everywhere else. If they listened to when he said, you know, I don't want to go to that school again, all of those signs, this could have been avoided, versus what happened regarding the college and the school, that things could have been treated better. What are your thoughts, Ma, regarding parenting in a case like this? Do you think that maybe if things were done better parenting wise, this could have been avoided? And what other thoughts do you have to add regarding parenting of the children in this case particularly?
So you see, the parents have already been wounded by what happened. So I will not be one to want to put pepper and salt into the injury. It's already a big blow. I will, however, say that people need to raise their children. Is it not somebody that beat him? Are children supposed to be going to school to abuse other children? Which type of animals are we raising that go to school and beat other people? A lot of those people also did it when they were in secondary school, beating juniors and stuff like that. I mean, we had all sorts of people like that in secondary schools. If your child is part of the children that actually, you see, they might have said Sylvester died of natural causes. They might have said that, yes. But even if he died of an infection after he had all these injuries, how did he sustain those injuries in the first place? Is what we should be asking. He didn't just hurt himself. He didn't just have an enlarged liver. He didn't just have bruises all over his body. He didn't just have some kind of toxic substance in his body. Something happened to him. What triggered it? Who beat him? And what are the consequences for that? those people were raised in a manner that turned them to such animals that they killed this boy. Call it whatever. Call it, oh, he told his parents, he told this. They also, to a large extent, trusted the school. They trusted the school. I would tell you, I don't trust any school. You don't even trust my own. You don't even trust anybody. Just have an equal eye. If anything is happening, speak up. If you're not sure about something, speak up. When it comes to this, our Nigerian system, because we don't have consequences. That's the challenge. We don't have consequences. If we live in a society where there's consequences and there's justice, then you can take certain risks. But now we don't have, at least we have seen a point in our face that no consequences. And I had the man continue to fight, even if he has to go and fight it privately to ensure that justice is served. And Sylvester will not rest until justice is served. There is no way. There's no way. If it's not in this physical life, it will be in the spiritual. It will happen. There's no way. It will be completely undeserving. And if it's its own case that's going to bring change to the educational sector and bring change to all the people that engage in all sorts of things, all the government officials involved in it, all the educators that knew what was happening and yet closed their eyes because of one thing. If you check the video I did yesterday, I was pretty much pointing at that. You know, money changes hands to the point where when things are going wrong, people will close their eyes when they see, because so many money is changing hands in the educational sector, left, right, and center. We know that. Even when people see evil, they will close their eyes because they've already collected money. They'll close their eyes because but the thing is that this has to do with people's children, people's lives. So you keep on destroying the lives of people's children because of your own greed. One thing, I'm very, very careful about what they say. I don't want to say anything about the parents because they've already done the blue. It's enough. It's more than enough for anybody to suffer what they have suffered. So why now say they are done that, If people had raised their children properly, if they had policies, then Sylvester would be alive too. And I'm talking about policies that they implement. I don't believe in something like that, and then you are leaving something else. You are having policies for paper. No. I'm talking about a functional process in the school to prevent bullying, to prevent that child from dying. If it was existent, then that Sylvester would be alive today. If we had parents that had raised their children right and not to be aggressive and have love and empathy in their hearts, they're not bullied, then Sylvester will be alive today. So we have to take parents out of the matter.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma, for how you answered that. Thank you. But please, I wanted to know and get your thoughts on why would you say parenting is such a strong foundation and influence for the building of a person's life? And while I was sharing the design and the flyer for this program, I gave an illustration, an example of somebody who went on to be a criminal, but this actually started out in his parenting years. So why is this so strong a foundation? I'm talking about parenting. Why do you think it's so strong a foundation, and why does it shape people so much into the adults that they now become? At any point you want to move, you can signal us. Okay, if you need to move, just like you said.
No, it's not your time. I thought I would have to go by now, but it's not your time. But it's the core, it's the foundation, it's the way they spend the most time. The parents have the greatest influence on a child, over and beyond anybody, over and even beyond the school. What the influence I have on people is more than anything that can happen in a school. Yes, because I've poured in day and night, spirit, soul, and body into her life. We are programmers as parents. You know how people are programmers. We are programmers. We can program these children to be right as much as possible. That is why the influence. Which other person can influence your child more than you if you are available? And availability not just being in the house. Availability also includes being there mentally, emotionally as well. So nobody else has that kind of power, authority, influence. Nobody else. It's the family. So it's the environment. That initial first nature is your child's home. So you are the one that can do right by that child. What you do when the child goes outside, you fill the cup of that child so much that it's so difficult for anybody to make a difference. It's so difficult if you are available. But all this unavailable parenting that is happening these days, forget it. You'll tell the child one thing, child, before enough, and child has done it. They don't even think, they don't even respect you. They don't know who you are. Why should they listen to you when you're never there? You're never there. You're always there. Their friends are always there. So if those ones tell them something that is wrong, they can't know any better. They just follow them because you're not there to take up your job. So parents have to do right by the children.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. What is your advice on parents raising twins? How can they parent and raise twins in an equal and fair manner? Are there any special tips to raising twins, whether twin boys, twin girls, or whatever it is?
There's nothing special. It's just cute. There's nothing special about raising twins. There's nothing special. I'm telling you, the only thing is that when you have multiple children, you have more pressure because when you're looking at one child, one diaper, one ex, you are doing it 3 times. But as children grow up, they are all different individuals. There are no twins that have the same DNA. They are all different. How A will behave is different from how B will behave, C will behave, D will behave. Have quadruplets, have whatever you want to have. They are never going to be the same. The stress is only more, but if you have the right support system, it will reduce the stress. But all of them have different personalities. All of them have different love languages. You can do exactly the same and they will still turn out differently. Just like we have in who are born in a staggered manner where one is 10, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, in a different way. Have them all. Give them the same thing. Wear the same clothes for them. That one is just for social media and pictures. Nobody really cares about all those ones. It looks good. Before you look at it, we forget about it. We forget about what you don't even know what you wear again. We are looking for the next person that will entertain us. All those are entertainment value. What parents need to do when they have those multiple children is to realize that those children are so different. They're so different. I have very, very close, my sister has twins. And they are like night and day. One is very active, one is very calm. One is very tall, one is short. One is chubby, one is not chubby. One talks a lot, one reads a lot. They're just different. They're completely different. There's nothing similar to them. So you can just say, oh, let them just be the same. Let them, even when the way we treat children, oh, let's go for ice cream. Let's all go for ice cream. Some of them don't want to go for ice cream. Oh, let's watch the movie. Let's play together. Some of them don't want that. I was that child, so I know. I'm that child that I wanted to be on my own a lot of times. I didn't want the Bobo treatment. But our parents were of the school of thought that they Bobo prayer, Bobo everything. You go to the same. Even if you have twins, they don't have to go to the same school. My friend Ruth Achanya, she's on this group. Her children don't go to the same school, and they are twins.
Wow.
In school for the sake of convenience, they don't go to. It's lazy people say, "Oh, my children are going to the same school. This wahala, this traffic." When you know there's traffic, why are you having multiple 10 that you can't manage? She will go to school A and go and pick the other one in school B because she realized that one was dependent on the other one, and she didn't want them growing up that way. She wanted them to both be independent, and today she got the results that she wants. But we will put all of them in the same school because it's convenient. You don't put your children in the same school and convenient. You may not get the same result. One may want a big school. One may thrive in a big school, and one may struggle in a big school. But our parents pretend not to even do that homework and know that about their children before they put them in school. They don't do anything they want. Oh, they go to this school. They must go to that. Your children don't have to go to the same school. Your children, they can be twins. They don't have to go to the same school. They don't have to take the same clubs. They don't even have to travel together on holiday. Some children are not interested. I was that child, so I know. I was the one who wanted to be my. That was me. I was that one happy on my own, loner. I still am. A lot of people say, "Oh, RonkePosh is out there." She's out there. It seems that way. But to be honest, it's always me. I love my space. I enjoy my space. I make my space very, very comfortable. And I do what I have to do. But you see me all over the place. I'm working. So people say, "Oh, you're all over the place." But think about it. I'm always working. How many parties do you see me going to? How many? So yeah, if you have multiple, they are not the same. Even if they are not, whatever the case may be, all your children are different. They all have different DNA, different personality, different love language, different traits, everything about your children, irrespective of who they are. They're different, so they don't need a blanket approach for all of them. No.
Thank you
The more
so much,
children
Wow.
you must do. If you have 2 children, you do more work. 3, more work. If you have 6, you do completely this more work, and you must be mentally and emotionally ready for them. But the thing that people who have those children and they're completely tired, so they'll be beating them like animals, trying to control them, trying to control them like robots. It doesn't work. Nobody asks you to have 6 children. So if you have this, the only exception are people that have all those multiple births. Those are the only exception, because it was beyond, except when you the IVF, you chose 6, so that one's your own business. But if you just had 6 children naturally, 7 children naturally, well, the God that gave you those children will help you through it, because it's not going to be easy at all.
Well, the way you speak is interesting, blunt, and funny. Okay, let me go to the next question, which is still along this line. What about parents with special needs child? Any advice or tips for them? Maybe altruism, any for parents with special needs child or children.
So those with special needs children, to me, they're the real parents, especially those that are coping with it. So when it happens, nobody wants the child to have a special need. But a lot of people will move on. There's a process of denial, there's a process of grief, when you have a special need, there's so many processes you go through. And you see that a lot of parents will go through those spaces, and then they will now begin to do all they can to make sure that the child gets early intervention. You see some will be in denial, like in our parent generation. You see that they would lock up the child in a room. Nobody sees that one, but they see the other ones for years and years and years. Next thing you won't know that whether the child is alive or dead. At least I know that we had a friend like that. We don't even know where she is today. But her sisters are all over social media, but we don't know anything about, But I say that those parents that are hands-on with their special needs children are the real parents. They love the children regardless. You see, people who have children that are neurotypical, what people will call normal. They're not supposed to be called normal, because even special needs children are normal. Neurotypical children is the word. So when you have those neurotypical children, you'll be beating them, you'll be complaining. They're not like this. You're comparing them. Do your friends have 2 heads? Do your friends have 2 heads? You'll be complaining all sorts of things. But somebody now has a special needs child that cannot help the situation, but they love the child regardless. Those are the real parents to me. Those are the real parents. And what I say is that may the Lord give you grace to be able to do what it is that He has to take care of the child that He has given you, and whatever it is that you're supposed to do with the child, may you be able to find that purpose. May you be able to find that destination with that child. And Lord will give you the strength to be able to do it, because it's very, very challenging. I know many parents that have special needs children. I'm close to the matter. I know how much they spend, how much effort, the sleepless nights that they go through. It's not easy at all, but they do it and they live regardless. And I will continue to pray for parents like that God will give them the grace. It is what it is. So the thing is that we just have to make the best of that situation. Those children, when they're in their own world, they don't see the problem, in quotes. We are the ones that think it's a problem. So a child may be autistic, but the child is happy in their own world. It's you that's thinking, oh, the child is autistic. That child in their own world are okay. It's you that have the problem. That one is your own business. You understand? So what we need is to give them what all they need. The ones that I really feel for are the ones that the parents don't know, or they don't have the means or the funds to be able to support them, or the knowledge to help them is not even readily available around them. In many areas in Nigeria, you see that there are some people that with intervention, things will have improved. But because of lack of knowledge, lack of money, lack of one thing or the other, then the situation is getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. So when people have special needs children, I think do your best to have research. Don't just stick to one person's opinion, because in Nigeria, when somebody has a special need, so I've even experienced it where a child will have a special need and they will say the child has dyslexia because you went to a dyslexia specialist. Then you go to someone that autism, they'll say the child has autism because they want to collect your money. You go somewhere else, they'll give you another diagnosis. So never ever stick to one. When you go to the next consultant or the next physician or whatever they call themselves, when you go there, don't tell them you visited somebody before. Just let them tell you what they know about your child. Do you understand? Just tell them, because in Nigeria, we're not sensitive enough to be able to say, okay, this is what is wrong, or this is the issue, this is the challenge with the child, people will go by money. So, and another thing is that when you also have a special needs child, even if you have funds to go private, also try and use the general hospitals, because there's a lot of intellectual strength in those places. They kind of like know a lot of the things. A lot of them are consultants in many hospitals. Go there also and seek opinion. If you cannot afford to go abroad, also go there. And going abroad doesn't mean that they always know it. They don't. Always seek more than one opinion when you have a child with a special need. And don't let them toy with your own child. You yourself, go and do your research. And don't just go to Google and search. Go to Google Scholar, where this thorough research has been done. These are by people that are, for lack of a better word, like PhD students and things like that, doing a lot of thorough research. Not just somebody on Google just writing one rubbish online, then you just download it and believe that is the way to go. You know, follow people that have experienced things like that have gone through the same journey. Connect with those people. I know also that there are people that have special needs children have told me that they have left online groups where they have special needs parents there, because they find that they all I want to be very careful and sensitive about what I'm saying. They didn't find strength in those groups. So they felt, being here makes me sad. It is my situation. I don't want to feel worse about it. I want to find strength. So a lot of people will say, okay, a few people that I've met and known that joined us was like, I had left the group because that was all they were all. Just like I have a friend that has alopecia. For me, she doesn't have hair at all. She lost her hair many years ago, and she joined all. She said she doesn't like all those groups for people that support groups for people that have alopecia, because they make it seem as if it's a problem. But she was wearing a wig for many years. About 3 years ago, she stopped wearing a wig and she goes bald. And she said, I actually enjoy going bald. I look beautiful with my bald hair. But when I go to those groups, they make it feel as if it's one bad thing to have. It is me. I don't have hair. That is my life. I'm tired of wearing wig. I want to go bald. When I go to this group, you guys are making me feel miserable and all those sort of things. So, yeah. So those support groups, they're not really they're not the right support for special needs parents. They need to go to those ones that are healthy. I don't know how they find them, but I guess it's feedback and then maybe experiential. When you go to those groups, you need to experience and know whether it is right for you or not.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Okay, the next question on my list will be, at what age now? Yes, well, we're rounding up soon. We're definitely rounding up soon. Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said my battery may go off, but I have another device. But go on.
Okay, go. I'll just ask the most important questions. At what age, Ma, do you advise for parents to enroll their children into a school system, whether it's daycare, the pre-early year school? At what age would you advise?
See, there's no age. It's what works for the family. That's why you have to have those discussions at the beginning. It's what works for your family. Like I say many times, in Finland, they don't go to school until they're age 7. Now, my own child started school when she was 7 months. I wanted her to be in a school environment. My mother-in-law was around at that time, but we're still paying privately for school because that's what we wanted for her. So it's not like you must take your child. If you can afford to keep your children at home till age 5, fine. If you want the child to go to school, you must give a reason. Why do you want the child to go to school, to socialize, to learn, or you want to work? There was always going to be a reason. Then you make your decision based on that reason. Some people have to take their children to school at 1 month, 2 months, based on their own unique situations. It's fine. If you want to do the work at home, fine. If you want to do the work with the support of a school, then it's fine. There's no real age. In this day and age, someone like me, I'm all for socialization. Even before I had the school, my own daughter, 7 months. She was all over the place. I was carrying her up and down the place. And I see the results today. She's highly social, very confident, great communicator, deep thinker, questioner. That's what I wanted, and that's what I got. So you have to pay the price somehow. If you want to be at home, the people say, well, my children did not go to school. They're homeschooled them. They'll be at home from morning to night. You are equivalent to one person that is homeschooling. Take the child to the library, to the park, for walks, to see animals, it's different. What you are doing at home, you keep the child at home. And write 1 to 10, homeschool. Write 1 to the home. That's not homeschool. Rubbish. You know what I'm saying? So they will bragging, oh, I'm doing homeschooling. You take a picture and put it on social media. I homeschooled my children for the first 5 years. And you'll be beating them there. They're having such a horrible experience. They have no choice. If you give them a choice, they'll be running away from the house. But you say, oh, I homeschool my children again. I'm not against homeschooling if you do it right. I've had friends. I had a friend that was born on the same day as my daughter. I met her in hospital when I had the day my daughter. And she was homeschooling her child. In the morning, they're up. They are going for this. They're having mommy and me thing here. They are going there. They're doing this. They are going there. They're not just sitting at home saying they're homeschooling. Resources here. Trips almost every other day. Not the one that we see in Nigeria. Say, yeah, they are homeschooling something. The children don't even have social skills. They don't interact. They don't go anywhere. The only way they go is church. What's that? That's not okay. I mean, these people.
What would you say regarding parents who are divorcing? What can they do to better parents despite their divorcing? And also, you could also speak to single mothers and fathers as well with this question. But the question is especially for parents that are choosing to go their separate ways for whatever reason. How would you advise, or what tips would you give to them on how they can better and effectively still parent their child even while they are separating from a marriage?
So people can be separated from the marriage. You already know that everything has to be in the best interest of the child. So ideally, you should be able to you should be able to be social enough and civil enough amongst each other, so that you can come to an arrangement where the child has enough of the father and enough of the mother, given the circumstances. But you know that the sentiments, emotions, and angles of things sometimes come into play when it comes to this parenting by divorced parents. But if you can arrive at a point where you can be civil to one another, where you can say, okay, maybe weekends I will have the children, or these holidays I will have the children, or I will see them, I will pick them. Whatever arrangements you have to make, do it for the children so that they can have a balance as much as possible, because they need both the father and the mother. Now, if you're a single parent, if you're a single dad or a single mom, you must look for a mother figure or a father figure. It could be your sister or a trusted friend that will play that role in the life of your child, because your child still needs that influence. It should not be absent. And the thing is that people always go on about single mom and single dad. The thing is that there are many people that are married, but their husband don't come home. They come home at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. They are still single mothers now. There are many men that are being bullied by their wives. They're the ones that are doing all the work. They are still single dads. So they're together in the eyes of the whole world. But the mother that is doing everything. She's the one taking them to school. She's the one shouting, beating, doing everything. She's the one even paying everything, all the bills. But we hide all those ones. We don't want to talk about it. We're together. My husband and I have been together for the past. You've been saying that one, doing an anniversary on social media, but you are the one carrying the weight. Many men are lazy and doing nothing these days. They just want to be chilling. They just want to be chilling. That's the generation that a lot of people have raised. A lot of parents, especially mothers, they have failed their children by over-parenting, pampering them and telling them that they are men. They should not be responsible for anything. They can't cook, they can't clean, they can't contribute to the family, they can't support in any way, you know. So you find that the many women are the ones doing everything, but they will still say that they are a couple. But they're not. A lot of the men are having affairs, doing all the things. They are not. They are terrible role models to their children. So a child being in a single home, it may even turn out better than one that has a father and mother in the house that are always fighting or never together, never doing anything. You know, it's better for you to have the stability, sanity, peace at home than to be with the father and mother that are always fighting every day. So really, just make sure that you have a role model for that and consistent role model for that child. That's what you need to do. That's what is important. You can see one of my best friends, she lost her dad when she was 3 years old, and she's one of the most upright human beings I know. And her mom raised 3 girls by herself. She didn't be married till today. And she's a doctor, medical doctor in the UK. She started in the US. And she funded and she took after them, stable, she's sane. Because they had role models. They had people that stood as fathers in the in their home, in their family. One was even a pastor, that a well-known pastor that we know. And they're very, very normal, very, very. So I'm not saying one to say that you have to say, you say, I'm staying in the marriages of my children. Even after my children, I will have gone. You are in a toxic relationship, saying you are for your children. And then you are creating children that will go out and repeat the same thing that you are doing. Please, 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 please.
Wow. Now, just two questions and we are done. Okay, and I think the last one even speaks more to people getting more of your resources. This one, it was a dilemma to actually pick what question to ask, but I think this one is really important. Ma, in this day and age of a lot of external influence, you turn left, something is influencing a child, external, you turn right, same thing. What advice do you have for parents to keep their children grounded enough in their value system that they believe in to prevent that child from getting what I would call contaminated by all of this external influence? What would you advise for parents to do?
Have a mission, a vision, the values for your children, and then live by it. You are the greatest example for your children.
Well, straight to the point, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. Then the final question for you, before we go to your rapid fire question, is how can parents parent without flogging? Like you have a whole book on that, but if there are 2 or 3 things you want to say about that, and then of course the rest will be gotten in your book.
If you want to parent without flogging your children, first of all, believe that it is possible. If you say it's not possible, then it's not possible. It's not going to be possible. If you hold on to scripture, spare the rod, then also hold on to the scripture that says the disobedient child should be stoned to death. Then you start stoning your child to death. Yeah? If you want to do it, have an open mind. Yes, it's in Deuteronomy 27. So people should go and study it and know that it's also in the Bible. But people want to beat. So they will hold on to that, spare the rod. The rod of correction, rod of love, rod of guidance, rod of miracles. They don't see that one. It's just to beat the children. So if you want to raise a child without beating, focus on yourself and your issues, your childhood traumas, your pressures and your stressors. When you remove that, you will see that many of the things that children do are of expected behavior. A child, a 3-year-old, takes water from a cup from a table and water spills on the floor, she breaks the cup, and then you beat the child. Have you trained the child not to touch a cup? Have you told the child not to touch a cup? And you as an adult, why did you leave it where the child can reach it? It is expected behavior for the child to explore and touch that thing. So you beat a child for what they are supposed to be doing at that age. It's insanity. You beat a child for what you have not told them how not to do. It's insanity. So if you don't want to do it, start with yourself. You are the one that has the problem. You don't want to shout and beat children in the morning when they go to school, but you don't pack their bag and their lunch a night before. You don't wake them up in time. They don't go to bed in time. They don't have enough sleep, so they're struggling to get up in the morning. Their shoes are not polished. You don't know where your wig is. You don't know where your shoes are. You're running around in the morning and you're shouting. But if you're organized enough, my daughter is still 16. Daddy, how do we do? What do we do? Don't we get your water ready in the mornings? What do we do a night before?
We do snacks, water, and uniform. Bring out vitamins for the morning so that I can just take them before I go.
Yeah, even her vitamins. She said her vitamins, we have like 5 or 6 that she takes. She takes D3, she takes turmeric, she takes all sorts of things in the mornings. So these are how to be taking containers and be making 6 different tablets. We have.
So, okay, this one. Oh, I hope it's not. I'm not sure I can hear. Oh, okay, we're back now. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it was
So
your network. Okay, now.
prepare yourself in good time. You prepare your child and you prepare yourself, then you won't feel the need to shout at those times. Then at the end of the evenings, and in the evenings when you also shout, another time when parents shout, is because they're tired from work, or their boss is bullying them. They've had a long day, or or they're broke, or there's no money, or they're fighting with their husband, or all sorts of things.
Okay, sorry,
Can
ma.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma, now. Thank God I changed the network. Yes, ma. You were
So yeah.
concluding. Yes, ma. Thank you. Patience.
So people should know their triggers. If you know your triggers, then you won't have the need to beat the children. So like I said in the book, there are 101 other ways. There's a challenge that we're running right now with 30-something women that I'm running right now, and they are all getting aha moments, and they're all saying that, oh, it's true. It's because of that. That's why I'm beating my children. But if you're one of those people that says, oh, nobody can tell me how to raise my child, some children need beating. It's because you want to beat. Because you want to beat. Just say you want to beat, and you don't want to think of any other strategy to raise your child. You just want to beat and it's lazy parenting when you don't want to think of other alternative approaches. It's actually lazy parenting. It's bullying. It's bullying.
Yeah.
When you don't want to actually help your child. So I have lots of resources on my YouTube channel. RonkePosh. You can get resources there. You can get my books. Send me a DM. I think it's a link in my bio as well. My books are also on Amazon. Just put RonkePosh and then you get my resources there. If you need one-to-one, I'm also available for that. And of course, if you need a great school around Lekki and Ikoyi, Poshe School is the place to come.
Yes, but I want to also spell out your handle, which is RonkePosh. So that's RonkePosh. So that's for the spelling. Okay, now we need to do your rapid fire questions before you go. No, we're done with the interviews. Just a rapid fire. Do a rapid fire session with you before you go, just to get to know your favorite colors and just a bit more about you.
Go on, I'm just waiting. Go on.
Okay. What is your favorite color?
I'm going to Poshe.
Okay. Yes, but can you still hear me? Ma, can you hear me? Let's see. I hope it's not from my side. Please, if you can hear me, please indicate. I want to be sure if it is my network or a network. Thank you so much for staying till the end. We're actually done. We just want to know a bit more about RonkePosh. Okay, she left. I think she would.